Welcome back to Politics Unusual. Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson just secured a second term this past November. Gibson was first elected in 2021 and has been serving the borough's 1.4 million residents. But there are big changes on the horizon for the borough. Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson joining me now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We're still saying that.
I know, right? It's hard to transition from the holidays, but thank you so much. So what are you so excited about for this next term? What are you excited to first get started on?
Well, as I assemble more members on my team, I'm excited about leading the Bronx for such a moment as this in the history of the Bronx. My second term, number 14, elected back in 2021 as the first African-American and female to serve. I know the assignment, I know the challenges the Bronx faces, and I will continue on the path of engagement, empowerment, lifting up families, investing in schools, parks, playgrounds, major capital projects. I'm very excited about $85 million plus in education. I'm excited about Kingsbridge Armory, Orchard Beach, the Hip Hop Museum, the Metro North, a lot of work in Hunts Point, thousands of units of housing, affordable housing and home ownership. I'm really excited about the possibilities that lie ahead because the Bronx is resilient. We are fighters. We have been knocked down many times. We always get back up and we focus on what matters to New Yorkers and Bronx families.
Now, as we mentioned, there's big changes coming for the Bronx. The Bronx secured one of the casino licenses.
Yes.
The Gaming Commission awarded a license to Bally's at Ferry Point. What are your thoughts?
I'm excited. I was a supporter from the beginning, a lot of public engagement on the ground, the Community Advisory Council. I had a member led by Lisa Zohran at the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, and we heard a lot of feedback. But I look very broadly. I look at economic development, job growth. I look at pathways to the middle class and lifting up families with good paying jobs. And I think this project will be transformative. I think Bally's and the corporation has already shown that they are real neighbors operating the golf course at Ferry Point Park. But also I remind Bronxites that their foundation saved Preston High School, which is an all-girls Catholic high school in Throgs Neck. We have a new lease for the next 25 years, and we have possibilities, and I'm excited about the opportunities, whether it's commercial, retail, hotel. This is more than just an actual casino, right? It is going to provide economic development, job growth, good-paying jobs. It's really going to lift up families across the Bronx, not just the Throgs Neck community, and there are millions of dollars that are committed for community benefits, investing in little leagues and parks and playgrounds, Ferry Point Park, Pelham Bay Park, the Little League, making sure we minimize the disruption that may happen on the local community when it comes to traffic, noise, pollution, making sure that we provide an overpass on the Hutchinson River Parkway. We secure money for DOT upgrades. We're really going to make this project successful because we know that it is important for the Bronx.
Now, Bally said it would employ, as you mentioned, 15,000 people, and 70% of construction and permanent facility jobs would go to Bronx residents.
Yes.
But some people were opposed to the project. What have your conversations been like with these people?
So I understand a lot of the concern and opposition. Many were concerned about gambling addiction, and we have several $1 million in the community benefits for counseling services, so we can avoid that, but obviously address it. There's also money for a new police substation for the 45th precinct, because many were concerned about traffic and crime. We will address that as well. I think largely the local community of Throgs Neck, very residential with homeowners, were worried about their bottom line, their own safety, the value of their homes, and we understand that. But I also know that this is a game changer. Billions of dollars in revenue for the Bronx is huge. We've not seen an investment like this of $625 million in the Bronx. That's a big deal. And I think for us, we wanted to level the playing field. The Bronx should have an opportunity to compete just like every other borough. So when it came down to it, the city council, former Mayor Eric Adams, the governor, the commission, all agreed that the Bronx deserves an opportunity, and I'm glad that the commissioners agreed with us.
Bring a lot of tourism to that area.
Absolutely.
Now, we have a new mayor,
yes,
and he's pushing forward a new affordability agenda.
Yes.
You endorsed him.
Yes.
But do you agree with his three top policy proposals, which are free childcare, free buses, and freezing the rent on rent-stabilized apartments? Where do you stand on those three?
So I agree with the affordability agenda. I agree with focusing on income inequality and lifting up families, lowering the unemployment rate, and giving families real pathways to the middle class. I believe in job and career opportunities, and that's why we've been so successful in the Bronx to reduce our our unemployment from 26% to 5.9%. It's a big deal. I believe in making sure that buses are faster and that commuters are able to get to and from their destinations. The Bronx has some of the slowest buses in the city of New York, and that's not acceptable. I also agree that we have to provide more affordability for renters. 1 million renters in rent-stabilized buildings that affects the Bronx. I also know that we also, on the other side of the conversation, have to support landlords in a real way. We have to support homeowners who rent out their homes that also use that as a source of revenue to pay property taxes and their mortgage. I look at this from many, many layers. I also look at the co-ops that are struggling, our HDFCs. We need to make sure that the state and city work collaboratively to support, because insurance has gone up. There's more liability. There is more of a threat to co-ops, places like Co-op City and Concourse Village and Jamie Towers and Amalgamated that we love, but they're struggling. And we want to make sure that their voices are at the table too. So all in all, I look forward to working with Mayor Zohran Mamdani and his team. He's already made a series of announcements and appointments. I want to recognize that he did announce Dina Levy from UHAB as the new commissioner of HPD, and he did it at the Hip Hop Building, 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. And so he understands the Bronx's needs. He understands the Bronx has been left behind, and he's willing to step up, to show up and deliver for our borough, and I'm grateful for that.
Now, we've seen recently a ramp up of ICE activity across the country,
Yes.
and while there has been some activity here in the city, it hasn't quite been gotten to the same level as it has in some other cities. But what have your conversations been like with city and state officials as you've been watching this?
We've been watching it unfold, right, since this president took office, and we've seen the presence of ICE in our borough commercial corridors where it's been random asking individuals for ID. This is a moment of challenge for us, but it's also a call to action and attention. We want to mobilize our immigrant advocates and organizations on the ground to help support our immigrant families, to remind them that no matter your status, you have rights. You have rights, and there are safe spaces in our city. Our public schools, our public hospitals, safe spaces where ICE cannot come in without a court order, right? And we want to educate people in the right way, but we know the presence. And look what happened in, Canal Street. A lot of our African immigrants that are street vendors were taken. It's really alarming, and in this climate, I stand with our mayor and governor in saying, with confirmation and with confidence, that we do not want ICE in our city. We have an amazing NYPD. We know what needs to be done. We have historic low crime numbers across the city. And yes, we still have to focus on public safety, but we don't need ICE to come in our community, harass our residents, threaten them, disrupt their everyday lives. That's not what this country is built on. And it's unfortunate that we're working in this environment where we now have to react a lot more. What happened in Minneapolis is disgraceful. And that could easily be New York. And so I worry about what that looks like in the future. So we're going to fight back. We're going to resist. We're going to push back as much as we can.
And really quickly, before I let you go, you're going to be participating later today in, it's a 4-year anniversary of the deadly Twin Perks fire, which killed 17 people. What's going to be your message?
My message is one of love and unity and prayers and reflection and remembrance. I will never forget that day 4 years ago. It was my first week in office on a Sunday at 11 a.m. and I got called to Twin Parks and Fordham Heights, and I saw pandemonium. I saw chaos. People were screaming, yelling, FDNY, EMS, NYPD, paramedics. It was a lot, and my heart breaks for these families because 4 years later, they're still mourning, and that pain is very real. The youngest victim was 2 years of age at his babysitter, and what we've learned from that is we have to do better on fire education, fire safety. We have to prevent the usage of space heaters because we know they're very dangerous. We have to make sure landlords are held accountable. We're providing sufficient heat and hot water and working elevators and fire alarms and, doors that actually close, self-closing doors. All of that we've learned in these 4 years. And my hope is that we would use this moment to remember, to reflect, and to continue to pray for the families that mourn the loss.
Well, there's so much facing the Bronx over the next 4 years, but I know you're going to be on top of it,
Yes.
and I look forward to having you back
Yes,
here
very
to talk
excited.
about it.
We're going to focus on affordability, economic development, jobs, tourism, and lifting up families in a real way. Bronx strong.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.